Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cailin YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin and today we're going to be looking at your September 2025 horoscopes. You can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun and moon sign. In fact, I recommend that you do watch for all three because that way you'll have a really well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. If you're wanting more regular astrological updates, you can follow me. It's the same handle, which is Cailin. So September is a really exciting month because we have eclipse season. We've got a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces and a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So if you're a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, definitely be sure to watch your horoscope for that sign because it will be very impactful for you, this eclipse, that is to say. And lastly, just letting you know that I'm actually referring back to my old format where I'm just flowing through the astrological events from the beginning of the month through till the end of the month. And the reason for that is twofold. Firstly, a lot of you said that you prefer those horoscopes, which I was doing before, that they have more flow, and you know what, I tend to agree with you. And secondly, they were taking me probably about twice as long to just execute in totality. So I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. If you do, please give the video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and it would really help me if you could share this video around just to try and grow the channel that little bit more. Thank you so much, and now let's get into your horoscope. Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your September 2025 horoscope. As the month begins, Venus, which is the planet of money, love, creativity and romance, will continue to transit your second house, which is Leo, and it will transit Leo until the 19th of September. So when the planet of money enters the house which rules over money and resources, this can play out as maybe experiencing an increase in your income, maybe purchasing certain valuables, maybe procuring more resources. On a different note, you could actually be overcoming a scarcity mindset. So you could be working really hard on reprogramming how you view money and abundance, okay? On a more sort of material level, this could see you spending more money. So when Venus transits the ninth house, we can be really indulgent, and that could be on things like skincare, facials, massage, or maybe eating out a lot, or perhaps purchasing more expensive perfumes, jewelry pieces, maybe expanding your wardrobe. And I'm not just gearing this towards women, you know, this can be men too. Maybe you guys are buying several pairs of shoes this month as an example, or you know, you should indulge in a facial, why not? Now, because the second house rules over food and Venus rules over indulging and sweets, when Venus transits the second house, as I said, on one level you could be eating out more often than you normally would, but this could see you eating more sweets or maybe even just craving sugar. So Venus transiting the second house could indicate that you are maybe investing in things that are going to enhance your physical appearance, and that is especially the case when it comes to hair and the face. So beauty treatments, maybe blowing out and getting your hair done, trying different hairstyles and skin treatments. I think I mentioned that already. In any case, on the 1st of September, Saturn will re-enter the sign of Pisces. So it will be transiting Pisces in your ninth house for just over 5 months. And that's basically taking you through to Valentine's Day, so the 14th of February in 2026. Ultimately, you will be closing out a 3-year transit that started in March of 2023. It doesn't mean that something significant had to happen in March 2023, but we're basically just looking at the last 3 years. So this can see you maybe cementing your belief in something that pertains to your spiritual, religious, political ideologies. On a different note, because Saturn will spend the first 2 weeks of the month at 29 degrees, you may actually experience a crisis in your faith. You may be really challenged in your faith. Now, that can be religious, that can be political, that can be spiritual. Okay, it doesn't have to relate to those of you who are religious necessarily, but some of you could actually be separating yourself from some kind of political party involvement, or even a certain religion that you've been following, or maybe it's to do with like a church, temple, mosque, etc. Even if you're still following a religious faith, maybe you're just like, I don't like the people that go to my church, as an example. Okay, so the ninth house also relates to travel. So during this time, there may be opportunities for you to travel for work. Now, this could be a really big deal. This could be a really big opportunity for you. There could be delays or obstacles to overcome in travel plans that you have over the next 5.5 months. So this would more so be the case for interstate trips and international trips. Maybe during this time, you'll be planning an extended interstate trip or overseas trip. Now, the ninth house also relates to foreign languages and other cultures. So this could be a period where you're really trying to integrate. Maybe there are language barriers that you're experiencing, but for others of you, could play out as you going to greater lengths to commit further to learning a foreign language. Just as an example, the ninth house also relates to the law and legal matters. So you may be playing the waiting game during this time, or maybe an important document or application is going to be approved, or maybe you're going to appeal a decision during this time. So topics like citizenships, permanent residency, etc., and visas may be coming up during that 5-month period, and there may be certain obstacles, delays, and challenges that you are needing to overcome. Now, the ninth house relates to publishing. So maybe some of you will be working hard on trying to get someone to publish your book. This is maybe like a heavy phase of editing and just going through your work with a fine-tooth comb. The ninth house also relates to higher education. So this could see you maybe working on a thesis, or like your final project or essay that you have to submit for your higher education course, or maybe you'll be putting together some kind of course. So you could be creating a course that you're looking to teach, and that could take you a few months to produce, is what I meant to say. Now, on the 5th of September, Mars in Libra in your 4th house will square Jupiter in Cancer in your 1st house at 18 degrees. So for those of you who are a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising between about 13 degrees and 23 degrees, you'll be the most impacted, especially if you are at 18 degrees. So this can be throwing up questions of wanting to be independent versus your family's expectations, or the cultural expectations that you were raised with. Or maybe this is like a question of asserting your independence and pursuing some form of freedom versus the traditions that you are trying to uphold. And maybe you're wanting to travel, but your commitments to family or your living situation could be holding you back or operating as a bit of an obstacle here. And to be honest, the same could be said with your desire to learn something or pursue some form of education. Ultimately, Jupiter in the 1st house is indicative of you wanting to spread your wings, travel, go on an adventure, explore new horizons, be independent, think for yourself, grow, dream, just have fun in your life, right? And then the square to Mars in the fourth house is like, but what about my home life? But what about my family? What about my parents? What about my children? What about my significant other? What about my mortgage? What would people think? You know, that sort of clash between the first house and the fourth house could be throwing up those themes for you. Now, on the 7th or the 8th of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a total lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 9th house at 15 degrees. This is trining you, which is beautiful, and it's also trining Jupiter in Cancer at 19 degrees. So if you are a Cancer Sun, Moon, or Rising, especially around, I want to say like 13 degrees, or maybe, no, let's say 12 degrees up till about 22 degrees, you guys will be the most impacted. Okay, so a total lunar eclipse represents that something is coming to a close with finality, and an eclipse in the 9th house can indicate a spiritual awakening, a religious awakening, and a total paradigm shift in terms of your belief systems. So this can see you actually being liberated from some kind of heavy dogmatic belief or even negative belief system that has really been holding you back. The 9th house relates to education. So this could indicate that you're maybe completing a course, completing a degree, maybe being accepted for enrollment into some kind of prestigious education opportunity or school. Maybe you're stepping into the role of teacher, and this could be in a really significant capacity, maybe teaching something that you haven't taught before, or teaching somewhere where you haven't taught before. So this could be a really positive opportunity for you. So total lunar eclipses are the most potent kind of eclipse that we can have. Okay, so the other ones would be like partial eclipse and hybrid eclipse. And a lunar eclipse in and of itself is like a full moon but on steroids. So this is just showing that this is an important close of a chapter or point in your chapter or journey, which will be memorable for you and also positive for you because it is trining you. There may be an opportunity for you to travel with a group, maybe a guided trip, guided tour, or with friends, especially because 15 degrees rules over groups and friends, maybe traveling with siblings. Maybe you're traveling for spiritual or religious purposes around September, okay, or maybe even October. And this could see there being some kind of conclusion being reached with a government application or a legal matter. Okay, or maybe your work is being published and or circulated in some capacity. On the 19th of October, Venus is going to enter the sign of Virgo in your 3rd house, and it will transit your 3rd house until the 13th of October. So this could see you socializing more, maybe making new friends, maybe spending time with old friends or with siblings. Certainly this can improve your relationship with siblings and with extended relatives and maybe even co-workers. There may be some opportunities for you to socialize with your co-workers or with your work team. Maybe you're working on a creative writing project. You could be taking some art classes during this period of time. And it doesn't have to be art in terms of like painting or pottery. Maybe it's dance, music, singing, etc., etc. So on the 22nd of October, Mars is going to enter the sign of Scorpio, which means it will be transiting your 5th house until the 4th of November. So the 5th house rules over love, romance, and dating. And Mars is a planet which represents taking a risk, and also it is known for being passionate and it represents sex. So for some of you, a new sexual relationship could begin. Maybe this could spice things up in your existing relationship, or even if you're not involved with another person romantically or sexually, you could be just exploring your own sexuality. Okay, so maybe you're just feeling more open-minded. Maybe you are jumping on dating apps. That's another way that that could be playing out. The fifth house rules over our love life as well as children. So I suppose the shadow side manifestation of this transit could be disagreements with your significant other or maybe with your children. Okay, so they could be rebelling, they could be acting up. On a different note though, wherever Mars goes, this is what we are pursuing. So you could be pursuing starting a family, getting pregnant, all right? And the fifth house also relates to hobbies, passions, and sports. So Mars transiting the fifth house could see you pursuing a new hobby or passion, or just getting involved in some kind of competitive sport program or tournament, or even just like socially, you could be playing sport with other people. Now, lastly, on the 21st or 22nd of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo in your third house. So it's either going to be at 28 degrees and 59 minutes or 29 degrees and 4 minutes, depending where you live in the world, or somewhere in between there. So ultimately, 29 degrees is the critical degree. It's the anaretic degree in astrology. So there's some kind of peak third house / Virgo chapter that is starting here or commencing. So maybe important contracts are being drawn up or signed around this period of time, plus or minus 2 to 4 weeks. Maybe you are looking at launching a new marketing campaign or sales campaign. There could be a new client that you're doing business with that's very important for your business, or that maybe even challenges you in some way. The third house relates to communications, and also it's a business house in astrology. So this could indicate that you're maybe starting a new business or looking to expand your existing business further. Maybe you're looking at starting or building a new website or app or some kind of new software or a prototype. Okay. Now, the third house also rules over co-workers and small teams. So this could see you maybe forming a new team, maybe saying hello and welcome to some new co-workers that are coming on board. The third house relates to education and things like licenses, diplomas, and qualifications. So some of you may be getting involved in something to do with one of those areas. So signing up for a new diploma or applying to get a license in some way, shape, or form, or an apprenticeship, or like another qualification. Maybe you're enrolling in a short-term education program, or you could be creating your own course content. That's another way that could be playing out. Lastly, because the third house rules over friends, siblings, extended relatives, as well as your local neighborhood and community, this could see you having notable conversations or important conversations with a friend, with a sibling, or an extended relative. Maybe there are opportunities here for you to meet your neighbors or to get involved with your local community or neighborhood. Okay, so that's all I have for you, Cancer, for September. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you're wanting to see more astrological updates between now and my next videos, feel free to follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. It's the same handle, which is just Cailin. Enjoy your month ahead, Cancer, and I will see you guys in October.